Hello everyone, this is Anish Verma and you're listening to the Empower Your Mind for Success podcast, a podcast for anyone who wants to build an entrepreneurial mindset. Last 4.5, 5 years, anytime and pretty much every time I've spoken to people about, their dreams and goals and maybe, coming up with their own business, there have been at least 2 to 3 main objections, right? I don't have a great product idea. I am not willing to give up security from the job. But one of the most important ones, or the one that comes up the most, is I can't sell. And people have this big roadblock or a big block in their mind that they cannot sell, and they keep on reminding themselves and telling stories to themselves that they cannot sell. They cannot sell a service, they cannot sell a product. And I wanted to cover that topic today. And when you are running your business, when you are an entrepreneur, especially if you are a solopreneur or a solo entrepreneur, you are doing everything on your own anyway, which is not always the best idea, but at least when you start off, maybe that is how you start off, and then find the right people to help you along the way. But even if you are a small startup company, it doesn't matter if it is tech or a non-tech, right? When you're a startup company and you have people working for you, even then, every person needs to take on a sales responsibility, even though that may not be your core responsibility, or that may not be your title. Because when you're small, you're trying to talk to people, make them aware of what you got, your product, your service, and if they find it interesting, they will ask you more, and you can take it forward. But I think in a business, selling is one of the most important tasks, because if you can't sell, you cannot collect revenue. No matter how great your product is, if people do not connect with you, do not connect with your product or service, or do not see value in it, they will not buy. Even if you give it for free, they will not use it. A lot of people think that selling is about price, and for some items and commodities, it does come down to price. But even though if there are 2-3 competitors with the same low price, people still buy only from one, for several reasons that I want to cover today on this podcast. But I wanted to talk about selling and explain to you what basically it means, right? And you may not know this, or you may know this, but selling comes from an old English word, Sellan, Sellan. And Sellan basically means to give more value, to give more empathy, to give more service. It basically the root of the word sell comes from Sellan, which means to give. So basically, selling is not necessarily you giving something and getting always money in exchange, right? But that is how we all see it. And for the most large part, you do need to exchange money for the service or product that you sell. That is how commerce happens. That is what business is, whether it is online or offline, doesn't matter. But in traditional sales, and even when I was working in the corporate job, right, the main focus was on close. You identify the opportunity, you start building relationships, but the main focus is on close. And actually there were people who were expert closers, right, who used to come in and close the deal. And these deals could be anywhere from a few $100,000 to millions of dollars in value, right? But as I got into entrepreneurship more full time, I started reading a lot of books, and one of the books that I've been reading is the Go Giver series by Bob Burg and John David Mann. And one of the books in the Go Giver series is Go Givers Sell More. And he covers the 5 laws of success with the lens of selling. And it's a very nice book. You should read the entire Go Giver series. It's very impressive. But Go Giver and Go Giver Sell More are two of his very good books. And in this book, he covers a few concepts, right? First of all, he says, look, selling is giving. And you need to not focus on providing discounts or more value when you're closing. You need to focus on first connecting with people. Selling is really, really about connecting. See, people don't necessarily remember what you tell them. But they will always remember how you make them feel, right? They will always remember that. So if you have made them feel great about themselves, if you may have made them feel that they are playing a very important role, and I'm not trying to say that, you need to be authentic about it, right? Even if you're trying to throw a praise at someone, saying it's a nice tie, and if he's not wearing a nice tie, then don't say it's a nice tie, right? If the glasses of a lady she's wearing are not pretty good, then don't say that they are good, right? You need to sound authentic when you're giving a praise and trying to build a connection with people. But people will always remember how you make them feel. And the more you connect, the better it is. And how do you connect with people? You connect with people by listening. And in corporate America, now things are changing, but I think usually in corporate America, when somebody says sales, you think of a car salesman, and they have one of the most notorious, thought that people have in their mind, right? They dread that experience. So from that perspective, you have to connect. To connect with someone, you have to listen to them more. You have to be empathetic and try to understand them more genuinely, right? Now think about this, and we have all done this, right? I mean, if you were trying to, if you were trying to sell yourself for a job interview or at the interview, you are talking very highly about yourself and what you have done, and not being arrogant about it, but making the other person aware. That is also selling yourself. So we all do that. If any one of us had a job, we have all sold ourselves and our capabilities, and that is the only way we have been able to land the job. If you have been trying to court a boy or a girl for a relationship, you have sold yourself over a period of time by connecting and by listening, right? So we have done that as well, and we try to sell pretty much every day to our children, to our spouses, to our peers, to our bosses, about an idea, about a product, about a service, even though we don't get paid for it, right? But we try to sell something every time. But when it comes to selling to get money in return, people kind of freeze, and people forget the basic principles of selling. So selling is more about giving value. The more value you give upfront, the better the chances are for you to make a sale, right? And don't try to close a sale. Try to stay open, because you want to, once a client has been won over and you have earned their trust, chances are that they'll keep buying from you again and again, and may not even think of someone else. So you have to keep the relationship and the sale open, and you have to keep listening to them and not focus on talking and trying to sell your widget, right? At the end of the day, if you really think about what anyone is looking for, in a transaction, are basically three things, right? Everyone is looking for a solution to a problem, and pretty much everybody has a problem, right? What happens is that most of the corporate people have a hammer and they keep on looking for nails. Whether the problem is a nail or not, they keep on looking for nails and use the hammer as a solution. But that's not the case, right? Everybody has a problem, and they're all looking for a solution to that problem. Second, they are looking for a good experience, and that is where connecting comes in, making them feel special comes in, listening comes in, some of the core basic principles in selling, right? And number three is they are looking for conviction. They're looking for conviction in your eyes as a person who's selling. If you do not believe in your product, why would anyone else believe in your product? You have to be authentic. You have to be passionate about what you're selling, right? Whether it's a service or a product, you have to be passionate enough. That is why, I always mention this, and I've also mentioned in some of my earlier podcasts that that one of the basic patterns of successful entrepreneurs are that they're very passionate about what they are doing. And to be passionate, it's not made up, it's not artificial. They are passionate because it is their dream and goal to make a difference in the community, to have a positive impact with whatever that they're trying to do with their project or their idea. So if you're passionate, then you are going to have conviction about the product or service that you're selling. So if people are looking for a solution for a problem, are looking for a great experience, and are looking for conviction from you, if you can have these three things, which we pretty much have in all aspects of our lives where we have mastered a particular skill, then what happens when people have to actually sell in exchange for money? Right? So these are some of the stories that people keep telling. It's a mindset issue, of course, but people keep talking to themselves about how they cannot sell, and how they're not good at talking to people, and how they're good at not connecting with people, and all that good stuff. If you attend social parties, if you attend birthday parties, if you go out with your friends, in a bar, you are good at connecting with people. You're good at talking with people, right? Now you just need to hone that skill a little bit more and try to master the selling skill. And when I say selling, I am not talking about the traditional closing aspect of selling. I'm talking about providing a lot of value, listening more, connecting more, making the other person feel better, and always being open to solving their problem, whether you make a sale or not. Like I told you, right? Selling, building relationships takes time, right? And you may not be able to sell your product or service at the first go, but if you have built a great relationship, the next time they will always remember you and invite you for the selling process. So if you can remember those few things, it will go a long way for you to get better at selling, because at the end of the day, selling is the only thing that brings in revenue for your company, and by bringing in revenue, that is the only way that companies can survive. So that is very, 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 very important, right? You have to keep on providing value, and if you can do that, that will be great. And you can read this. You can read this in the Go Giver's Sell More book. He has done a great job, and there are a lot of other books around selling as well that are very interesting about how to provide more value, and especially in today's connected world, right? If you can provide value very well and solve a problem, the word spreads much faster today than it used to a few years ago, because we're all socially connected with each other, and we feel very good about talking highly about how well you leverage someone's product or service and got a lot of value out of it, right? You'll tweet, you'll put it on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever social platform is. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps you understand selling a little bit more. I hope you want to take up selling, if not as your core job, but at least as something that you would want to partake in and help your peers and colleagues to help them do their jobs better. If you can understand these basic principles, always think of providing more value, always think of listening more, always connect more, and always make the other person feel better, right? These are the few things, if you can remember, then that will go a long way. At the end of the day, selling is more about relationships. It's about humans, right? So if you want to be a good salesperson, you have to be a good person to begin with and connect with people. Okay, awesome. That is great. I hope you found this of value. Remember, you have unlimited potential. Own it. Until next time, take care.